dashiki top and a soft back. Miss Letitia is wearing an African printed top and a black tie. Miss Alicia Hussein, she is wearing a splendid white top and African printed skirt. Senator Obika, is he splendidly attired in a Nigerian power suit?
Africa is wearing an African blouse and skirt. Thank you.
And now everybody will just make a round and show you all our outfits for the final time.
Thank you, Africa, for that lovely hosting. So we would now have a message by Mr. Taharka Obika.
Thank you. Good day. Good night. Point 14. Emancipation. Now, emancipation is a day where we commemorate many things, beginning with the abolition, the ending of chattel slavery, where we commit as members of the human race, as African people, as members of the human race, that never again must any human being be subjected to slavery of any kind. So the greatest contribution that we can make when we commemorate Emancipation Day is not only to celebrate things African, but also to pay tribute to those who fought. Pay tribute to those who fought to ensure that we can be free, but also for all humankind, so that no human being must ever be subjected to the cruelty of slavery. 186 years ago, that process occurred throughout the British Empire. It was said that the sun can never set on the British Empire. Where we are here in Trinidad and Tobago was also a part of this British Empire. I have had the privilege, as have several members of the African diaspora, to visit Africa, to reconnect with my roots in my ancestral homeland. I even went as far as getting married, and some of the garments, not all, some of the garments you saw on the stage tonight are actually the product of my wife's business that she does with her mother, my mother, in Africa, so my wife's mother. So I have been able to reconnect. And in that reconnection, I see many parallels and similarities with persons from Africa and us here in the Caribbean. And this century is being hailed as the century of the African. And whilst persons in Point Fortin may have been so familiar with me speaking about 1,000 jobs, about wealth creation for land, for the landless, on a political platform, what persons need to understand is that that comes from a place, and that place is self-determination of any people. Self-determination of a people comes from a first understanding who you are, and then, of course, controlling the things that affect your destination. Wealth creation is important. To us here in Point Fortin, wealth creation on Emancipation Day is something that we must always reflect on. Because if we don't control our land, or if we actually control our land, we control a significant factor on our destiny, our destination. If we control our land, it is very important. That is why you would hear me speak so much about land and ensuring a people have a stake in this land that we are in. This land that our forefathers were brought to by force, taking our stake in this land, claiming our space on this island that we are in, this twin island called Trinidad and Tobago. And then, of course, if you control your land, you must control the means with which you will develop your land. You must control your economic system. Therefore, you would have heard me across Point Fortin constituency talking to small and medium business owners, small contractors, even persons who seek employment, and focusing with them on this thing called controlling your economic system. We cannot have in Point Fortin or any community in this country people from the community, all right, not benefiting when the economy is spinning. I'll give a simple example. Tonight, you are hearing sound, and this sound is provided by a young entrepreneur from this community in Point Fortin. We know him as Quick Star. Choosing to support your neighbors in your own community economically is the first cornerstone towards liberation. The Almighty sends some strong breeze. We are thankful for that. So, economic systems, land and business. This is the century of the African. Why? African countries on the continent have been growing at a fast rate. On Emancipation Day, we not only reflect on how far we have gone here in the diaspora in the Caribbean, we also reflect on progress made on the continent of Africa. And the progress is astounding. Even during this period of COVID-19, Senegal produced its own kits, testing kits for COVID-19, leading the world in affordable testing, which is the tool that many countries need to fight any virus, in particular this one. So there are strides made not only by Africans, but by Africans in Africa. In Trinidad and Tobago, what does emancipation mean for us in this society that we are in? It means that those who fought to be free made that statement then, that they will not condone slavery of any kind to any human being. And that is the message. That is the message that we must take as to the meaning of emancipation for even persons who are not of African descent. The struggles for freedom of the African, which led to emancipation of a people, has freed mankind, because therefore, never again will mankind know slavery. And as a young person growing up in Point Fortin, I would always be part of emancipation observances that my parents would hold. In fact, I tell many people in Point Fortin in my walks that most of them who are young, in their 30s like myself, who have African names, have received those names because of my parents, because there was no internet in the 80s for them to use. They would get the books from my parents. They would get suggestions for the names for their children from my parents. And even sometimes, the performing of the naming ceremony would be done by my parents. Such is the connection that I have to the community of Point Fortin, that when I walk around the community, young people would tell me, your father named me, as young Rouse, you told me when I walked to a house in Captiville. So such is the connection that I have to Point Fortin. Such is the connection that I have regarding African liberation. And the liberation we speak of is in the mind, in the homes of persons from Point Fortin. The message I want people to leave uppermost in their minds is that of wealth creation. Unless and until we, in our communities in this country, control our systems of wealth creation, unless we own the land that we reside on, unless we have title to the land that we farm, unless we own our operations, unless and until in all the communities, and this is for all peoples, the struggle of the African to be liberated 186 years ago was a struggle to liberate all peoples of conscience in the world. So wealth creation is the message that I want to leave for Point Fortin, for Trinidad and Tobago, and for the world on this Emancipation Day. At the end of my presentation, we will pause a little bit so that we can get the backdrop nice. Because, of course, we are not only speaking to the few here. Because of COVID-19, we've not told persons to come to this, my office on Gover Road. We are speaking to those of you watching on your devices, whether you're in Cochrane or Icacos, Captiville or Erin, or other parts of Trinidad and Tobago. And to my wife in Africa tonight, I want to say to my wife and children that even though we may be miles apart on this Emancipation Day, a day that we normally share together, I love you. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
So now we would have the feature address by Nyahuma Obika, which is Mr. Obika Sr., as everybody else would know.
Let's welcome him. Yes, let's give him a warm welcome, former High Commissioner to Nigeria for Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Those of you who are here physically and those who are here online. I'd like to compliment, first of all, our candidate and our Member of Parliament to be, come the 11th of August 2020, Taharka Obika, for seeing the importance of including, this occasion on the agenda. I want to say that, first of all, it was the National Joint Action Committee, NJAC, which demanded the observance of August the 1st as Emancipation Day. But NJAC was not the first to do that. NJAC was not the first to demand the recognition and annual observation of August the 1st of 1984. I can recall as a member of NJAC in my second year at St. Augustine campus in 1974, 1975. NJAC observed August the 1st, 1975. But the history records that in 1888, which was the 50th, and I repeat, the 50th anniversary, because remember, chattel slavery was abolished in 1834 throughout the entire British Empire. Now, I must confess, history has always been my best subject. My first degree was in history and political science in 1976 at the St. Augustine campus. I was offered a football. I love history. To Rutgers University. And I could remember in my final year at Presentation College in 1972-73, right? I was offered a football scholarship to Rutgers University. I was the National College's goalkeeper in 1973. Okay? So don't mind how I look now, right? And I had won a scholarship to Rutgers in my final year in A-levels in Prez, as we used to say in those days, in 1973. And I didn't take it on. I give it up. I decided I wanted to do history at St. Augustine. And I had two wonderful parents, my mother and my father, Oswald and Irma Paris. My name at that time was Garnet Paris. If you look into your dictionary, you will see that Garnet means a precious jewel. My mother named me Garnet. As a precious stone. Look in your dictionary, you will see it. And my family name was Paris with one R, like in the capital of France. P-A-R-I-S. So I was Garnet Paris. Okay? So I was offered, I was the National College's goalkeeper in 1972. There were guys from Point Fortin, my good friend, Brewster, Kenrick, or Kelvin, he used to go to technical. He heckles me all the time. Larry Injin Belfort was on that team. And another guy, his name is eluding me now. He was one of the most dynamic pointers in football. So I was the National College's goalkeeper in 1972. We toured Bermuda. And I was in my final year at A-levels at Prez. I was offered a scholarship to Rutgers University in early 1973. I turned it down. I decided to go to St. Augustine in 1973 to do history because I loved history. So I did history and political science. And in 1974, I was living because I'm from San Fernando, okay, at that time. In 1974, my first year at St. Augustine was a beautiful year. As any undergraduate will tell you, I did everything an undergraduate will do. I can't tell you here tonight, okay? And in my second year, in 1974, September, I joined NJAC. I was 20 years old. My father was a senior staff member at Texaco in Pointe-a-Pierre. A senior staff. My youngest sister went to St. Peter's School in Pointe-a-Pierre. My elder brother, who is an attorney at law in Jamaica, he also went to St. Peter's. So and we lived at Coconut Drive in San Fernando. Coconut Drive in 1973-74 was like Bayshore, Valsine. Okay? So I went to St. Augustine in 1973 when I finished my A-levels. I did history, geography, and English. And my first year at St. Augustine, it was like any first-year student at St. Augustine. I enjoyed it. Okay? But in my second year, 1974, to leave out the details, I joined NJAC. I was 20 years old, 1974. I joined NJAC. My father was a PNM. My father was the General Secretary of TechU Credit Union from 1972 to 1962 to 1970. Very respectable gentleman. I joined NJAC in my second year at St. Augustine University. Are you still here? I'm not hearing anybody. Are you hearing me? Right. And from 1974 as a member of NJAC, living in Oswald and Uma Paris home in Coconut Drive in San Fernando. I was a member of NJAC for 40 years. In 2014, yes. I was High Commissioner appointed by Kamala Prasad Bisesa to Nigeria in 2010, 2011. And in 2014, August 2014, I was turning 60. I'm not ashamed of my age, I'm very proud of my age, okay? I was turning 60 on the 22nd of August 2014. And in those revolutionary days in NJAC, we never celebrated birthdays. As people go crazy, women, oh, this is my birthday. Are you giving me anything? You understand? My wife knows that. I met my wife, she was 19 years old, coming out of Cuba Convent. And she was teaching at Cuba Penal. Okay? And being a member of NJAC in those days, you don't celebrate birthdays. The struggle of the people was the most important. You understand me? Not your birthday. So when a woman tells me you didn't buy me a cake for your birthday, darling, I'm sorry. I've been with my wife for 40 years now. 40 and more. I may miss a few years, I'm sorry. Okay? So, where am I? So, I joined NJAC in 1974, my second year at St. Augustine. Okay? I graduated in 1976 with the first degree in political science and history. I loved history. And I was immediately accepted to do a master's degree in 1976 in political science at St. Augustine campus, a master's degree. 8 of us. And I started my master's degree in August, September in 1976. Okay? I would have been 22 years old at the time. And as a member of NJAC. And in November of 1976, which is how many years now? 44 years. As a member of NJAC, I decided to change my name legally. And you don't just change your name just so. You do research into what names you want to choose. Okay? The name Enyahuma, which I was attracted to, it means helper of men. And I say, yes, that's what I want to be, a helper of my people. Only to discover years ago that Enyahuma was the king of Monomotapa Empire in the 15th century in southern Africa, 1440s. Okay? So I chose Enyahuma as my first name. Okay? This is 1976 I'm talking about. And then in doing research, because we were at Brother Dagger's home in Laventille, only to discover years ago research, you don't that Enyahuma was the king. You research the name. You look at the meaning of the name. Empire, and if the meaning of the name is what you would want to be, because so the name, so the man, a woman. You don't choose a name because of its songs. You choose a name by its meaning. Enyahuma means helper of men and women. That's my life's devotion, to help people. So that was my first name. And I chose my last name, which we call our surname, which this European business, surname business. It's my family name, Obika. Obika means the family is supreme. Nobody can dispute that. Am I wrong? I know this is a virtual meeting. Is anybody out there? Huh? Tell me. Obika means the family supreme. Do you agree with that? Isn't the family supreme? That's the meaning of Obika. It's an Igbo name. In Nigeria, the Igbos are from Nigeria. There's a joke I learned when I went to Abuja in 2011. They said, if you go to a country, this is a joke, I hope it's online, but it's offline. If you go to a country and there are no Igbos, leave the country because there's no money there. Anyhow, right? So my family name is Obika. My middle name, which in my Njak days, it's your spiritual name. It is Mentuhotep. Mentuhotep is an Egyptian pharaoh who lived over 2,000 years BC, before the birth of Christ. Mentuhotep. That's my middle name. That's my deep spiritual name. Right. I've lost my focus now. I have to get back on track. So in choosing, when my wife and I, her first name is Dela, okay? And we have had 3 sons. My first son is Alpha. He is in Jamaica. He was my campaign manager in 2010. Those of you who are wrong in my campaign in 2010, remember Alpha. I selected Alpha as my campaign manager in 2010. Some people felt like I chose him because of my son. No. In 2010, he had his first degree in communications. Today, Alpha has a PhD. He is Dr. Alpha Obika. And he's a lecturer at Mona University in St. Augustine. You follow me? So Alpha is my first son. Taharka was born right. You see, this PNM is something else. They like to pretend that they don't know. I came to Point 14 in 1977. I'm sorry if I'm going off track. Am I going off track? Tell me. Am I going off track? Right. I first came to Point 14 in 1977. I was 23 years old, and as a young member of NJAC. And Daga sent 5 of us to Point to sell the Liberation newspaper. And he chose me to lead the team of the 4 brothers, 5 of us who came to Point 14, 1977. That is 43 years ago. Okay? I will tell you my age before I end. Right? And I'm not lying to tell you. What impressed me about Point 14 in 1977, when I first came there as a young man at the age of 23, well, you could do the math, 20-something, right? I was struck by, there was the stature of the African male in Point. They walked with a kind of pride, okay, that had an impact on me. You know, they walked through Point 14 with a kind of a pride. I said, yes, I have to be here. That is 1977. And you know, we were sent to Tiché, 5 of us, to sell the NJAC Liberation newspaper. Right? And I'm not lying to tell you. The other 4 brothers who came with me, oh my, if they sold 2 papers in Tiché in 1977 of NJAC, they sold plenty. Because in 1977 in Tiché, you had a lady called Miss Ocho on 2nd Street. A tower of a woman. You had Miss Williams on 2nd Street. Another power, she became deputy mayor of Point. You understand me? Tiché was the pride of Point. And that image of the way in which those men in Point walked, it made me feel I have to make this place my home. That was 1977. And I decided I was chosen to run for point in the 1981 elections. And since 1980-81, I'd made Point 14 my home on 17 School Road in Point 14. And it was at 17 School Road in Point 14 that my 3 sons were born from my wife, Dela. To Alpha, who's the first in Jamaica, I said he's now a PhD. Taharka was the second. And we would have African naming ceremonies. So Taharka, you had an African naming ceremony for Taharka at 17 School Road in Point 14. And then my 3rd son is Lumumba, named after the great Patrice Lumumba of the Congo. Lumumba has a master's degree in aerospace science engineering. He lectures at UTT, at the Aviation Institute. My 3 boys attended the Asja Muslim School in Point 14. You understand? I was the chairman of the PTA in Asja Muslim School from 1988 to 1994. And I gave up the chairmanship because I knew I had to do some travels for Enja. So those PNM in Point who say they don't know, who is he? Who is Taharka? Who is he? Taharka was 2 forms ahead of Kennedy in Muslim school. Kennedy was in the same form of my last son, Lumumba. Kennedy is a pilot. Lumumba is an aerospace science engineer. An aerospace science engineer does not deal with, in fact, from Lumumba I learned a very interesting statement. Okay? He said that, you know, he said that the new normal is not just, it is outer space. Huh? Yeah. You know, people say the sky is the limit. The sky, I learned this from my 3rd son, Lumumba. The sky is no longer the limit. It is cyberspace. You follow me? I learned that from my 3rd son, Lumumba. He got a part scholarship to Tuskegee University in Alabama, thanks to my good friend, Dr. Michael. He did so well, he got a full scholarship at Tennessee Space Institute in Tennessee between 2010 to 2012. He has a master's in aerospace. That is not piloting, that is astronaut thing, you know. He's a lecturer at UTT. So we have 3 sons who have all accomplished themselves. From Point 14, all 3 of them went to Asja Muslim School in Point 14. So who the hell could tell me that my son is not from Point? Kennedy's father and me were very good friends, you know. When I went to St. Benedict's College, I was an opening batsman. Kennedy's father was a fast bowler at Faizabad Intermediate. He used to open the bowling. He was fast, eh? At one time, he hit me on the hip, I still feeling the pain. I was 14 years old. You know, I still feeling the pain.
UNC massive!
So when I came to
August 10th! On election! We gon' beat them! For election! We gon' show them! On election! We gon' beat them! Who is that? Who we voting for? Election! We gon' beat them! For election! We gon' show them! On election! We gon' beat them! The people's champion! The Vindranath Tanku! We support you! Oro Butch West coming up behind you! The people really need you! And they love you! This election we voting for you! Tell them we fed up! Show them we fed up with them! We voted for Tanku! For the rising sun again! Come out in your numbers! Together we stronger! When you dip your finger, it's for your children's future!
I was chairman of the Muslim school PTA for 6 years. I gave it up afterwards to Obika, who's a big PNM now. You understand me? Kennedy, father and me were good friends because we played cricket against each other in secondary school. You understand me? So don't mind them with the foolish talk. Who is Obika? Obika was born in 17 School Road, Point 14. We had an African naming ceremony at 17 School Road, and this dotish man they call Crow. I'm going to deal with him, you know, don't free him. Because at the head of the Butler Institute, organized by NJAC, I gave Crow a scholarship. And Victor Vutogaro. It was after that Crow was when the young king. He went the young king. That same Crow. I don't afraid him. He's a foolish man. But I love him still because he's my brother. He's talented. I love Crow. You understand? So let's throw that aside. I apologize for that. So where are we? So they say they don't know who is Obika. Where are you from? He was born in 17 School Road, Point 14. And you know, I grew up, as all of us would grow up, knowing about a common statement that my neighbor Stringberry here. Is that familiar to you? So I said, but one day, my wife bring the 3 neighbor string of my 3 sons, Alpha, Taharka, and Lumumba. I said, what the hell is this? This thing is true. And I took those 3 navel strings. I'm not lying to tell you. And I planted it at the back in a certain spot at 17 School Road in Point 14. So Taharka's navel string is buried in Point. So this thing, who is he? His navel string. He went to Miss Yule. And you know when we were walking about down in Point Coco, very interesting. We met a woman there. She said she was one of his teachers at his preschool. He went to a school before that. And then my wife took him to Miss Yule. Everybody knows Miss Yule in Point 14. An institution. Okay? But even before he went to Miss Yule, there was another preschool my wife had took him to. And he met that woman too. And then in Point Coco, he met the woman who taught him in preschool. That is between the age of 3 to 5. I will never forget when he was leaving Miss Yule to Muslim school, he got an A. You don't get an A from Miss Yule, just so you know. Those who know Miss Yule, he got an A. And he went to Muslim school. And right through Muslim school, Taharka never came lower than 2nd in class. And when you could come first in Miss Barrett class in Muslim school, I'm telling you, those who know Miss Barrett, and you know something, you see, I believe in life is not about just physical. There's a spiritual dimension. My years in struggle in NJAC, you know, this is a spiritual battle. And in Muslim school, right through, it was Obika and the manager of American stores, Suku. 2 of them. 1st, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 1st, 2nd. Right through Muslim school. Obika and Suku. Right through. And 2 of them passed straight from Muslim school to Presidential College in San Fernando. Do you know? It's the same Suku who was sent as the attorney for Taharka's campaign in this election down here. You understand what's happening? This is a spiritual, this is not an ordinary thing. Kennedy boy, sorry, I beg, you lost. You lost. And don't talk about this foolish man they call him. What's the last man name? Help me. Help me. Clyde Paul. Oh, Jesus Christ. That man's a total disgrace. As ambassador to Nigeria, I had attempted to link the city of Benin, which is considered to be the cultural capital of Nigeria. I attempted to link the city of Benin to Point 14. I sent a letter to that dotish Claypole. He made a mockery of that in the meeting of the Point thing. Total mockery. This man is an embarrassment. This Claypole. You understand me? He's a foolish man. And I'm very disappointed, right, in my good friend. What's his name now? The former mayor before him. Help me out. Jesse. Because Jesse was a press man. And don't talk about this one. What you name it? Lee Hunt. When I was in A-levels in Presentation College, Lee Hunt and Bertrand were in Form 2. They were small boys in press. I was the captain of the cricket team, the senior team in press and football. Bertrand and Lee Hunt was two little boys. You understand? So I wouldn't talk about, Jesse's a nice boy, but he's overdoing it. You understand what I'm talking about? I don't afraid none of them. The PNM has destroyed Point 14 between 1956 to now. The PNM has held Point from 1956 to 1986. Am I right? That's 30 years, unbroken. The NAR came. My good friend Leonard Bradshaw was the campaign manager for Selby Wilson's campaign in 1986. I was in NJA. 86 to 91 was the NAR. And from 91 to now, that is 29 years, plus the 30 years, from 59 years, the PLM has had Point. And what the hell does Point have to show for it? What the hell? My father worked in Pointe-a-Pierre, in Texaco. My sister worked her whole life in Texaco, in the legal department. My eldest brother worked in the drafting area. He is now a resident in England since 1970 as an architect. My second eldest brother is an attorney at law in Jamaica. I have pedigree, you know. You see, people feel because they have an African name, is a catch-ass. This associate African name, it catch-ass. Am I right or wrong? You understand me? I'm a proud African man. So don't let anybody feel because you're an African. The PNM is an, and don't talk about this Rowley. I don't deal with him. I don't want to sully that dotish man, foolish man called Rowley. You understand me? And don't talk about Lee Hunt. You see Lee Hunt? The ancestors will deal with him. Because as High Commissioner of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, between 2011 to 2015, I played a frontal role in Republic Bank's purchase of the bank in Ghana. You follow me? Let me tell you something that you're not being told. I was the High Commissioner. I presented my credentials to the President of Ghana, Excellency John Mahama, in 2012. Okay? And just after that, my friends in Ghana told me, well, look, there's a move by Republic Bank to purchase, what's the name of the bank again in Ghana? HFC Bank. I said, what? They even took me to the bank and I opened a personal account at the bank. Next thing I know, Lee Hunt came. Lee Hunt was in Form 2, Form 3, when I was in A-levels in press. Let me talk straight here now. This little Lee Hunt feel that he is some hototo. You understand? He was a little boy. And I was in A-levels in press, so I know him. So when he landed in Ghana, I was High Commissioner, responsible not only for Nigeria, but Ghana, over 13 African countries. So they took me and opened a bank account. Leon came up. He and the managing director, this is my good friend. He is retired now. Okay? and they were getting problems. Okay? Taharka decided to follow him. Taharka was doing his master's in economics at St. Augustine. He was working at the Ministry of Trade. He said, look, I'm feeling lonely down here because my eldest son, Alpha, he was doing his master's. He went to England. Then Lumumba was in Tennessee, and then Space, and Taharka alone down here. He said he's feeling lonely. So he came up to Africa. He looked around, and then he decided to do his MBA in Ghana at Legon University. And Leon arrived and appointed the same Taharka as his personal assistant. Taharka said the only thing he didn't have to do to Leon was to change his underwear. I'm quoting, eh? You understand? He was his personal assistant. And as High Commissioner based in Nigeria, I was also High Commissioner to Nigeria. And I utilized the full powers of the embassy and as the ambassador of Nigeria to Ghana to assist Republic Bank and that little skunks called Lee Hunt in order to succeed in buying over the bank in Ghana. You understand? I did all kinds of things, utilizing the power of the office of High Commissioner. You follow me? I could remember one night we in Accra, myself, Robert Lee Hunt, and our honorary counsel for Ghana, and myself. They said that the king of the Ashanti was in Accra. He was flying out, and we could go and meet him. If you know Ghana, the king of Ashanti is a power. You follow me? And most of the directors in the bank at the time were Ashantis. So we dropped everything. Lee Hunt, John Edwards, who is our honorary counsel in Ghana, his father is Trinidadian, his mother is not Ghanaian, and myself. And we went and met with the king of the Ashanti. He has a special mansion in Accra before he flew out. And we begged him to support Republic Bank's bid to purchase the bank, HFC Bank. Are you following me? Are you following me? Okay? The amount of things that I did as High Commissioner. Because when I heard that Republic Bank is looking to buy a bank, Republic Bank is owned over 40% by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, not the PNM. The Dortish PNM fee Republic Bank. Republic Bank is not owned by PNM. It is owned majority over 40% by the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Are you following me? Are you following me? Right. So as the High Commissioner of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to Ghana, I acted in that capacity to support Republic Bank. And at the time, the managing director was my very good friend, David Doolal-Rightway. David Doolal-Rightway was the managing director of Republic Bank at the time. Okay? We are very good friends. He was a small boy in Presentation College when I was in A-levels. David Doolal-Rightway. All the Doolal-Rightways went to Presentation College, San Fernando. Are you following me? Okay? So because you see me in African clothes, you feel I ain't go press. You understand me? Anyhow, that's another point. Right. So David came to Ghana, and the whole shebang of the executive, the present managing director, he also came. And as High Commissioner of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in 2013, I did everything possible because they were getting a lot of pushback from certain elements who did not want Trinidad and Tobago to succeed in buying over the bank. So when Leon wanted to push as if it's the PNM, that is the propaganda, though. As if it's the PNM that buy the bank in Ghana, that is rubbish. That process took place between 2012, 2013, and 2014, when my son was Leon's personal assistant. And he was doing his MBA. And you know, Taraka told me the only thing Leon didn't ask him to do was to change his underwear. This is not going online, though. I never said that. Right? Not only that, not only that, not only that. The situation was getting so tough, right, with this takeover, that Leon's cook, the guy who was cooking for him, threatened to poison him. Are you listening to me? Taharka was his personal assistant, so Taraka, right there, Taraka heard what the cook said. And he told me that the cook is going to poison him. I immediately contacted one of my main security companies in Nigeria. And within 24 hours, they came to Ghana and provided that son of a bitch, Robert Leon, with personal security. Are you listening to me? These are facts. You understand? I wanted to go and pour one or two with my boy, what's his name again now? Skippy. But it so happened now. You understand? And I, in 24 hours, that security company that had provided personal security for me in Nigeria, because the Nigerians, don't mind the propaganda you hear, Nigerians are top of the line when it comes to security. And there, within 24 hours, he was there. And when I went back to Ghana in October, November with Taraka's wife and his 2 children, because she has to finish her degree. She has one more degree 1 year, because when they were married in 2015, she had 1 year left. Another time I'll tell you about that wedding. We can't talk about that tonight. Okay? So, don't mind this Lee Hunt fella. You understand? Don't mind him. Had I not done what I did, any number could have played with that fella. You understand? And there are more things that I did. I was called in by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ghana. He said, Excellency, which is the title you give as an ambassador, George Padmore, a national of Trinidad and Tobago, who met Kwame Nkrumah at the 5th Pan-African Conference in 1945. George Padmore, a Trinidadian. He met Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, Kwame was like his student. Okay? Those of you who are familiar with this will know what I'm talking about. And it was George Padmore from Aruka who advised Nkrumah to go back to Ghana to lead Ghana into independence in 1957. Ghana achieved independence on March the 6th, 1957. And when Ghana achieved independence, the first thing Nkrumah did, he invited George Padmore, a national of Trinidad and Tobago, to come to Ghana. And then Nkrumah appointed Padmore as his special advisor on African affairs. You hear what I said there? This is, as we say, a Trinidadian, you know. You know, we don't like to refer to Trinidadians as Africans. You understand? We feel Africans only born in Africa. But Kwame Nkrumah appointed George Padmore, a Trinidadian, as his special advisor on African affairs in 1958-59 thereabouts in Ghana. And it so happened that Padmore died through certain medical complications in the early 60s. And you know what Kwame Nkrumah did? Kwame Nkrumah brought back the bones of George Padmore. And it is presently interned in Accra, Ghana. And he used Padmore's personal books to establish the George Padmore Memorial Library. You following me? You go to Ghana today, in the capital of Accra, you would see a big bowl the George Padmore Memorial Library. And he brought back the bones of Padmore, which are buried in the compound of the George Padmore Memorial Library, a Trinidadian. And so the Deputy Foreign Minister of Ghana called me and our honorary consul to his office in 2013, 2014. He said that the building is in disrepair, and he would like me to do something about it as the High Commissioner of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to Ghana. I said, okay, I will. And I decided to establish a foundation, the George Padmore Memorial Library Foundation. And the mistake I made was to approach, to invite that Robert Lee Hunt to be chairman of that foundation. Are you listening to me? He was in Republic Bank in Ghana at the time. I said, okay, Robert is my boy. Padmore is a Trinidadian. All right. I called Robert. I said, Robert, I wanted to be chairman of the foundation. It's no problem. Nkrumah's daughter, Samia Nkrumah, fantastic woman. She was prepared to be involved in it. She was appointed the deputy chair. Beautiful person, very humble, okay? Beautiful personality, everything. The mistake I made was to offer this chairmanship to that Lee Hunt fella. He did absolutely nothing with it. Nothing. But we're going to fix that. I'm telling you. I'm going to move his name from it. Doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. I can't tell you the rest. We talk in public. Right. So I'm telling you this to tell you that today is a beautiful occasion. I'd like to thank Saharka for having the wisdom and to see the importance of putting aside some time on this campaign. This 1 week to go, this foolish PNM you're up against, all kind of pettiness and foolishness. This Rowley is a foolish man. Tobago doesn't even want it. You understand me? But Tobago will deal with that. That is not my business. Okay? So, point 14, you have a decision to make on the 10th of this August, 2020. From 1956 to 2020, the PNM held point from 1956 to 1986, 30 unbroken years. Williams stood up by the roundabout there by KFC and said, point 14 ends at point. You understand? He dismissed the people down in Granville and all these places. Okay? So between 1956 and 1986, the PNM controlled point 14. Because let me tell you, all them the same thing. It was the NAR with Bradshaw and Selby Wilson and these guys who took point between 86 to 91. Are you following me? And then they lost it back to the PNM. And between 1991 to 2020, that is 29 years plus 25. 25 and 29. How much is that? How much is that? 54 years! The PNM has held point. And what the hell point have to show for that? They closed down Petrotran. My father worked 41 years in Texaco. These criminals, this Clyde Paul and this foolish Abdon Mason, all of them, you understand me? They don't care one hell about the people of Point. So the PNM had point 14 from 1956 to 1986, 30 unbroken years, right? NAR at 5. And from 1991 to now, that is 29 years. What does point 14 have to show for that? You tell me. And then PNM talking all of them the same thing. All of them, who is what same thing? All of them, PNM is the same thing. I don't afraid them, you know. I served 40 years in NJAC, you know. And in 2014, I was High Commissioner sitting in my office in Nigeria. In 2014, I was turning 60. So now you know how old I am. Eh? And in my NJAC days, we never celebrate birthday and things. You know, some of these girls say, oh, darling, my birthday is next week. And if you don't celebrate the birthday, she wants to leave you. But my wife, I met my wife, she was 20 years old. You know. Okay? We have been together for over 40 years. And she never pressured me to, darling, today's my birthday. Men do all kind of things just to get cake for the birthday. You understand me? So, I was sitting in my office in Abuja, Nigeria. In 2014, I was turning 60. So now you know who old I am. I'm 65. I'll be 66 on the 22nd of August after we take over the government. So I was turning 60 in 2014. In my NJAC days, we never celebrated birthdays. We didn't have time for that. So no girl come telling me, oh, Enyahuma, tomorrow is my birthday, you know. You understand me? Darling, happy birthday. You understand me? Right. So sometimes my birthday, I remember my birthday the day after. So, but in 2014, I say, wait. I will be 40, I'll be 60 years and 40 years in NJAC because I joined NJAC at the age of 20 in my mother and father's house. My father was a PNM, you know. And my father never tell me, I will put you out. Never tell me that. I respect that man till I die. Never tell me that nonsense. So I was turning 60 in 2014 and 40 years in NJAC. I said, okay, 40 and 60. Them numbers, time for decision. And I decided to resign from NJAC. And I wrote my resignation letter. No animosity, no vitriol. Thanking for the opportunity. But I served 40 years under one of the greatest leaders of Trinidad and Tobago, Macandel Daga. Give him a round of applause, please. Please. One of the greatest leaders that this country has ever known. I had 40 years under him. I have no remorse whatsoever. I decided politically I would join the UNC because I looked at Kamla Basad Bisasa and I said that this woman is the leader to take Trinidad forward. I took that decision in 2014 in Nigeria. And I could never forget I was at my home. I came back for holidays. I was at my home in Harriman Park. My good friend Anthony Moore. I said, Moore, bring the form for me to sign. So I was going to sign the form. And a good friend of mine, I wouldn't call his name. When I go to sign the form, he said, you're not signing that. I just look at him so. You going to tell me what to sign? I'm not a slave. This is emancipation we're talking about. I'm a free man. Okay? And I signed the membership form to join the United National Congress in 2014. I am a member of the United National Congress, UNC, for 6 years. And I have no regrets. Kamla Basad Bisasa is the person, the leader, to take Trinidad and Tobago forward. Why are you all silent like that? Is that you agree or don't agree? Right. Taharka's decision to do what he did is his decision. I didn't tell Taharka joining UNC. You understand? Don't misunderstand this thing. You remember I told you the relationship between my father and myself. My father never told me don't join NJAC. And he was a PNM. So I never tell Taharka, you have to do what I do. No, it don't work so. He is his own man. You follow me? And this is his decision. He got married in 2015 in Ghana. I don't have time to talk about it. A fantastic wedding. I had to go into the mountains of Togo as the High Commissioner of Nigeria in 2014. to meet his wife's father family. This is African history we're talking about now, Emancipation Day. To get his wife's family, listen to me very carefully, to get Taharka's wife's family to agree for their THEIR, for their daughter to marry my son. You understand me? Not her father. Are you following me? To get her father's family. So I went up there as High Commissioner with the flag, my official flag and official vehicle, a big Hilux, this, that, and the driver, official driver, the flag of Trinidad and Tobago flying, going up in the mountains of Togo in 2014. I had to carry certain women who would speak the language of his wife's family. This was not no English business, no French thing, This is an African wedding. Are you following me? This is October 2014. I had to go up in the mountains of Togo with my official driver. I had to get 3 women, and the lead woman must be able to speak the language of father's family. This is not English and French business. You understand me? She had to speak the language of her father's family. And we went up there. Taharka was in another vehicle behind. And let me tell you something. If her father's family were not happy, Taharka to go back home, Don't feel it, Senator, this, that, no, that mean nothing to them, And when we arrived in the village, he could not come out his vehicle, Are you listening to me? It's only after we went through certain paces, then they sent to see who is this fella want to marry their, THEIR, their daughter. Are you following me? It's a fantastic experience. We can't talk about it tonight. Okay? So, my brothers and sisters, you have an easy decision to make come Monday, the 10th of August. An easy decision. Kennedy boy, I like you. Your father and me were cricketers together. You're good part. But Kennedy, stay as the mayor. I don't know why they're pushing the ring as this thing. Stay as the mayor. Right? They said they don't know who is Obika. Obika was in Muslim school. Kennedy was in my 3rd son class. Kennedy is a pilot. My son is an aerospace science engineer. So don't study them. They don't know who is Obika. Don't study them. Because of the African name. And it's African people talking that rubbish. This dotish Clyde Paul. I ain't going to deal with him tonight. I win, sully this sacred occasion of Emancipation Day with Clyde Paul. Okay? So my brothers and sisters, we have work to do. We have 1 more week to go. Okay? And we can do it. Point 14 needs a change. The highway to Cedras is a game changer, I'm telling you. Okay? So, I thank you very much. I think I've overstayed my time. Okay? Let's eat, drink, and be merry. Good night, and thank you very much.
So, thank you, Brother Obika, for that wonderful address. And we'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, as well as watching on the live. I'd like to introduce the drummers. We have the celebration of the drummers. And the drum was the sorry. Okay, we have the celebration of the drums, and we have right. Sorry. We'd now like to start. We'd now like to start with the drumming.